Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Mother's Day is fast approaching, and we're thrilled to kick off the celebration with our 5th annual Mother's Day seminar. Featuring 4 dynamic speakers, this event promises to empower and inspire. Join us as we explore how mothers play a vital role in helping young men draw up their blueprint for success.
Good evening, everyone, and talking about super excited. I am sincerely excited. This is Build Your Best Life's 5th annual Mothers and Sons Seminar. Can you believe it? It's the 5th annual seminar. I just can't believe it. But it's here. It's finally here. I have been waiting, and it is finally here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. You know, this year is all about blueprint for success, and we want success for our young men. We want to encourage our mothers, and it's just been a blast talking about all the different aspects of that blueprint and what can derail it, what can make it move. But it has been amazing. Now, our theme this year is deep, it's long, but it's good. Helping young men draw up their blueprint for life. Say that again. Helping young men draw up their blueprint for life. And when I tell you we have 4 amazing women that are going to tell you exactly how to do that, you just take my word for it. Take my word for it. I'm not going to prolong the time, but I am just excited. We're going to go ahead and get started. Before we can have our prayer, we always start out with prayer. But it was so interesting Sunday as I was doing my devotional time. I passed upon one of my books that I use, Walking in Grace. It used to be, I think, Our Daily Bread. But this is a story about a mom that has found herself now single, divorced. And she's in the park with her children, and all she can think in her mind is, I didn't sign up for this. I have to be the nurturing mom. I have to be the dad that controls the kids and tell them what to do and what not to do. I just didn't sign up for this. The father is just absent now. What can I do? But she told them to go ahead, play. She was going to sit by a tree and read a book. So as she sat there, some mom time, taking a breath and began to read, all of a sudden she heard this scream from her sons, and she ran like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have left them alone. And so as she goes over, she sees them, and they're standing by a little makeshift grave. And they said, Mom, we found this squirrel and we buried him. We didn't put our hands on him. We used leaves to to cover him up. But they had made a cross and everything. And so it made her feel good that all of the teaching that she had been trying to give them about humility and grace and doing for others, that they had actually been listening. So she had been placed in this situation, and we know God doesn't make mistakes, but he had given her what she needed to get through this time in her and her son's life. So just like he has encouraged her and brought her through, he'll do the same for you. So that's a little bit about what Build Your Best Life is all about. So we just thank you. Now I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our hostess for tonight. This young lady is simply a loving, no-nonsense, strong woman, fun-loving lady. She is a mother, an author, a podcast creator, a survivor, and an epitome of a friend. I'm going to say that again. She is the epitome of a friend. Friends are not something that we can all get and have, but she is a friend. Now, there are some people that, you have to warm up to, but she was somebody that I met virtually, and spending time with her virtually, when we met face to face, we just clicked. I love her so much. So I want to introduce you to my friend, Coach Stella Major.
Coach Deborah, thank you so much for even allowing me to be here on today as this host on this platform. And yes, the epitome of friendship is someone that you can call on, you can count on, and they will be just right there. And true enough, it's just some things, how some things just gel and just connect. That's how the way it is, and it's like you said, we met online, and then when we met in person, it was just keep it on going. And so I too consider and so thankful to God for allowing me to be your friend. But even more, the fact that this is my second time hosting one of the Mothers and Sons event. And I remember, and I can recall even on the last time, how powerful this is. And so everyone, we want you to make sure that you like, tag, and share. We want you to reach out to all that you know and tell them, come on and join us on this session for today. Why? Because I'm telling you, the nuggets that's going to be released, even though it says Mothers and Sons, there is something on this platform and something that's going to be said today that can be shared all the way through. It is not gender specific, but it's God specific. And I'm really, really so excited about that. And so with that being said, I want to just go ahead, like you said, Coach Deborah, dive right on in. And I want to bring up our next person that's going to be speaking for us as we getting ready for this episode, and that's none other than Deacon Dan, who's going to launch us out first with our actual prayer, because look, we got to always lay the foundation for God to be in this platform. And so Deacon Dan, hey man of God, how are you?
I am great, and you?
I am so excited. I'm so great. And so I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute, sir, to go ahead and lead us off with prayer.
Yes, ma'am. But I got to say this, what a blessing to see you again and to be in your, not physical presence, but in your presence.
Hey.
And, unbelievable. 5 years. 5 years.
Unbelievable.
God is a gracious God, and he's continued to bless.
Yeah.
Build Your Best Life, this platform. So we're going to go, I'm just going to go and take it to prayer. So we got a great speaker coming up too, so I ain't gonna hold nothing up.
That's it.
Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for allowing Coach Deborah to see this 5th year of this Mother and Son seminar. You've been blessing us, and you keep blessing them. Now, God bless everybody that's participating today and just every day this week. So we're gonna thank you for it. Now we just ask you to touch each and every one of our hearts, guide us and lead us, give us directions that way that you would have us to go. Let us walk in your anointing. And we're going to thank you for all your blessings and everything that you're going to do. That someone hear this tonight so they can have a blessing that they will receive from this program. So we thank you for everything. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We just thank you for all your blessings. And God, continue to show us the way, guide us and lead us, and keep us safe. These are all blessings we ask your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And so with that being said, we want to move forward and just go ahead and release our next thing. What we're going to be doing is that we have an ad for you. And so I wanted to show this little basic advertisement, and then I'll see you on the other side.
Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith invites you to our 5th annual virtual Mothers with Sons seminar. This year's theme is helping young men draw up their blueprint for life. The event is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, nightly beginning Monday, May 6th to Thursday, May 9th on Facebook and YouTube. Special guests include Monday, May 6th, Pastor Angela Marks. Tuesday, May 7th, Pastor Shanique Davis. Wednesday, May 8th, Brady Robinson. Thursday, May 9th, Pastor Rosemary Winbush. They are excited and eager to share their words of knowledge and wisdom. Visit www.buildyourbestlife.org for more information.
All right, good. Look, I'm telling you, this whole week is going to be so impactful. You don't want to miss not one day. Why? Because each day builds up on each day. And what we're talking about, we're saying the theme for this year is helping young men draw up their blueprint for life. And when you think about blueprint, you think about what is their DNA? What is the mark that they're leaving? Or what is it that they're going to continue on? How they're going to define themselves? And I'm just so excited. And so what I'm about to do is introduce you to our speaker, who's going to even come forth and give us some insight as it relates to our theme and talking about, the blueprint. talking about how our young men can even think about their impact. So let me just give you a quick synopsis and bio of our speaker. So Pastor Angela Marks, she has a heartbeat for children, and she has been dedicating her life to sharing the gospel with this generation, and to see them not only just establishing what God has for them, but their calling as a kingdom worshiper, as a kingdom warrior, as a kingdom witness. Oh my God, this is so exciting. She has served as for 13 years in the children's ministry, experienced in various churches. Okay. But this year, she founded her nonprofit organization that is called With His Hands Outreach. And what this outreach does, it serves a vital root. It serves, helps children within the community, you know, to be able to connect with themselves, connect with their journey. She currently serves as a virtual root, Bible Root Academy coach, where she teaches pre-K through high school students online weekly. And then also, you know, her reach has gone far beyond children's ministry, because she's a speaker, a teacher, and a virtual trainer on many multiple platforms. Look, let me tell you, not only these platforms is locally, they're nationally and internationally. And when you have someone like that, that's pouring back in to our children, I know that God has given her a word and something exciting to say. So I want to, the next thing you're going to hear is a nice little instrumental. And then following the instrumental is going to be none other than our speaker for tonight, which is Pastor Angela Marks. All right. So, you know,
Good evening, everyone. I am excited and honored to share with another mother and son seminar with Coach Deborah Smith. Thank you, Coach Della, for that awesome introduction. Listen, we're here to talk about how we can help young men draw up their blueprint for life. I am excited because I'm here to offer some encouragement tonight. My topic is going to be something that all of us, especially our young men, can resonate with as they are pressing and moving forward towards their goals. And tonight, we're going to talk about setbacks to comebacks. overcoming difficult moments for success. Listen, all of us have dreams and ambitions, especially our young men, and they are looking forward to accomplishing the goals that have been set in their heart and the purpose and plan that God has placed on their lives. But one thing we understand, sometimes life tends to throw us challenges, and sometimes we can find ourselves in different situations that cause us to be set back. But oh my goodness, aren't you glad that a setback does not have to stop you? There is always a comeback for a setback. And so I just want to share with for a couple of moments with you, as young men, as even moms, parents, how you can help your young men draw up the blueprint for their life when it comes to overcoming the difficult moments so they can meet success. But I want to start with a story. My son Justin and I love Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's one of those old school things that I think is a little bit nostalgic for me, and he knows that, and he don't mind taking a joy in those type of things. But it seems like every Christmas, he tends to find me always a good book. And so I remember one Christmas, he brings me a book about Mr. Rogers. How he know that I love Mr. Rogers. And so as I was reading the book that he bought me one year for Christmas, I ran upon a story that is in the book. A story that Mr. Rogers shares about this young boy. And if I can have your attention for a moment, I want to share this particular story with you because it's going to dive right in to what we're going to be talking about tonight. So once upon a time, isn't that how stories start? The story talks about a young man, right, that didn't feel very good about himself. He would beat himself up because he had been diagnosed with cerebral palsy, right? And that's a condition where you're not able to talk and you're not able to walk. And so he was confined to a wheelchair to the point where he would have to use a computerized machine to talk for him. And so this little boy had a very bad case of cerebral palsy. And so what happened was, one day, his mom found out that he loved Mr. Rogers. His mom almost thought that, you know what, it was Mr. Rogers that was keeping her son alive. How enthusiastic he would be to watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And so his mom was like, wow, it would be amazing if I had the opportunity to take my son to see Mr. Rogers. Well, lo and behold, comes a day where Mr. Rogers was actually coming to California. He was making a trip to go visit the zoo, but also coming to do a small introduction or interview. And so what ended up happening was that this foundation that dealt with children with disabilities decided to pick and choose certain children that would come and meet Mr. Rogers. Well, guess what? This young mother found out about it, and her son was chosen to go and meet Mr. Rogers on that day. Well, guess what happened? Her son goes and meets Mr. Rogers, and he gets to the point when he is in the room with Mr. Rogers, he's become anxious. He becomes upset with himself to the point where he's so nervous, he doesn't even know why Mr. Rogers would want to meet him, why Mr. Rogers even cared to know who he was. He was about 14 at this particular time. He had become a teenager. You know, he had cerebral palsy. He didn't think much about himself. Who would want to meet him? Nobody liked him. This is how he felt, to the point where he started to hit himself in the room while he was in there with Mr. Rogers. His mother came to him and decided to take him out because she knew that he was getting overstimulated and something was happening to him. And so she removes him from the room and takes him to a place where he could indeed calm down and get himself together. And so she goes back and she realizes, you know what? After all this time, I know Mr. Rogers is not here, but you know, I'll go check and see anyway. And she goes back to that same room and she finds Mr. Rogers sitting there. He was sitting there waiting for this young man. And so, you know, the young man begins to use his computer to talk, and he asks him, why are you still here? And Mr. Rogers says, listen, I'm still here because I need you to do something for me. Will you do something for me? And the young man, of course, with his computerized machine, he said, well, what would you like for me to do? And Mr. Rogers says, I would like for you to pray for me. And the little boy didn't know how to respond. He was struck with awe. What do you mean, Mr. Rogers? You want me to pray for you? And Mr. Rogers says, yes, I want you to pray for me. The little boy was like, well, no, I should be the one asking for prayer. I'm the one with these challenges and with these difficulties. I'm the one with cerebral palsy. I don't like myself. I'm struggling. I don't even want to live anymore. I want to die. Why do you want me to pray for you? And Mr. Rogers gets close to him and he says, because if God can keep and love you, and if you can make it through all your obstacles and challenges, you are someone that I want to pray for me. Mr. Rogers goes on later on in life to sit down and have an interview with a particular a guy that was doing a story on him. And when Mr. Rogers began to tell the man the story, the guy that was interviewing Mr. Rogers started to compliment Mr. Rogers and thank him for the fact that him asking for the little boy's prayers made him feel better about himself. And so the interviewer was like, you know what, Mr. Rogers, I know you felt good asking this young man to pray for you because of his conditions. And Mr. Rogers looked at the interviewer and was like surprised. And he said, what do you mean? Oh, no, that is not why that I asked him to pray for me. Mr. Rogers says, I asked him because I think that anyone who has gone through those challenges like that must be very close to God. And if I want anybody to intercede for me, I want it to be that young man. Tonight, we're talking about setbacks to comebacks, overcoming difficult moments of success. What I love about that story is it was all within the challenges of this young man that he thought that his life was insignificant. He didn't even see how just him being present in the moment of being able to walk through each and every challenge, being able to even live through the course of his challenge was enough to cause Mr. Rogers to be in awe, asking for his prayers. Tonight, I want to share just a few thoughts with you on how to overcome difficult moments for success. As we are challenged as moms and dads and those of us that are part of community to help build our young men and lead them towards greatness, there are some things that we have to be able to teach them so that they can be reminded that they too can overcome setbacks and challenges. The first one is this. They have to acknowledge that where they're trying to get themselves to in the journey is a process. And that process takes progress. They have to be able to celebrate the fact that as I'm moving toward a goal, every little accomplishment and every little milestone that I take, I ought to be able to celebrate where I am and where I'm going. I love Coach Ricardo because he says this life for us is like a marathon and it's not a sprint. We're all walking towards a goal and a place that we're trying to get through. And there is a moment of progress where we are going to move forward and we're going to celebrate every moment as we get there. Another thing that we want our young men to be able to do is embrace the growth mindset. There are so many people in life that choose to give up where they are. They look down on themselves. They beat down on themselves. They look at themselves and see that their challenges and their difficulties it comes to destroy them to the point that they can't rise above. Like this little boy in this particular story, he felt like because of all the things he had went through, possibly nobody could want anything from him. He was stunted by a mindset that was not a growth mindset. And if you're ever going to grow, you got to understand that your setback, it does not mean that you have failed. Your setback means that you have an opportunity to get back up. But you cannot get back up if your mindset is not that of growth. That where you continually affirm yourself, declare words of affirmation and accomplishment over your life, no matter what your challenges are. Every challenge that you face is likely to teach you a valuable lesson. And that is the most important part of having a growth mindset. Is that every time that you come up against a challenge, you don't look at it as an opportunity of failure. You look at it as an opportunity of learning a lesson that will lead to your maturity and your growth. And what does that do? That makes you resilient, and that makes you stronger. Another thing, you should always focus on the journey and not on the destination. You must always focus on the journey and not on the destination. My son is getting ready to graduate in the next coming weeks. And one of the things that we were talking about in a conversation, he said, "Mom, I just can't wait to get this over with." And I said, wait a minute. Yeah, I know you can't wait to get this over with, but what have you learned along the way? What in your journey of accomplishing this goal have you met? What did you focus on in the journey? He said, I focused on just trying to get through it. Right. But you have to tell me there are some things that you've accomplished, milestones and mini goals to get you to this big goal. How many classes did you pass? How many times did you go through to the study session? And when you went to the study session, all that you acquired in the study session was an opportunity to help you pass that quiz that you passed, right? I know you're excited about the destination. You're looking forward to getting to the moment of where you can walk across that stage, but don't forget the journey that brought you over. Graduating is the greatest accomplishment, but so is the journey that took you to get there. And I want us to go back and reflect on that, because when you reflect on the journey, you'll see the lessons, but you'll also see that you had the strength and the ability to overcome. You have to encourage yourself to go back and reflect on those moments where you showed resilience along the way. A lot of times when we get to a certain plateau in a certain place, we don't always look back. And you know what? It's good to look back, not to ponder on your past, but to look back knowing, you know what? That if God can bring me through that, then whatever else is ahead, He is also able to bring me through this. The fourth thing, if you are going to be able to overcome difficult moments so you can get to your moment of success, you have to be able to seek support, right? When we are dealing with those difficult moments and challenges, supports are always good for us. Now, it was interesting because my son told me this. He said, Mom, I ended up having to go out and find support also in other places. I always knew that I could come to my family and gain support. You always would encourage me and tell me how great I was, that I could do it. But it was also good for me to seek support outside of the family. He had an opportunity to meet with his professors. He had an opportunity to meet with his mentors. He even had an opportunity to meet with those that provided him counseling as he dealt with all the situations to overcome. And so, I didn't push back on that. I encouraged that and I welcomed that. It's great to not only lean on family, but it's also great to lean on friends, to lean on a strong support system that has the ability to help you navigate your challenges and difficult moments along the way. Why? Because everybody has a journey and people have an opportunity to share interesting experiences and stories in their own lives that could be a very thing to help you get over the hurdle that you're dealing with. Seeking support is not a bad thing. It doesn't even, it's not meant to make you feel like you don't have the answer. Seeking support is being able to lean on a village that's willing to hold your arms up and help you get to your destination. The fifth thing I want to share with you tonight is that you got to know how to stay flexible and adapt. If we are going to help our young men draw upon this blueprint of life, they have to be able to have some flexibility. Encourage them to be flexible. Life does not always go as planned. My son was at a university, really excited about the program that he was in, looking forward to even graduating from this university. You know what happened? He had to learn how to be flexible and adapt. And it's probably like a lot of our sons had to, especially when out of nowhere in 2020, a pandemic hits. And they are removed from being on campus and engaging socially with friends, professors, and being involved in all types of events and extracurricular activities, and looking forward to join organizations. And in the middle of all of their dreams and goals, a pandemic hits, and all of them have to pivot. They had to be flexible in that moment. Flexible to have to make a quick decision. Many of them flexible in moving from in-person classes to virtual classes. Many of them facing the challenge of not being able to easily maneuver this virtual space of education. While many of them had situations where learning in an environment where they can be in front of the professor and sit among peers works best for them. They had to learn how to quickly be flexible and adapt. Life rarely goes the way we intend it to go. Life rarely goes the way we intend things to happen. But what I love about God is that even though we have to adapt and become flexible to a different plan, His plan and purpose for your life is always the same. And He has a way of even allowing a flexible and alternative route to get to your final destination. Nobody knew that this pandemic was coming, and they had to pivot quickly when it came to education. But I told my son, listen, be excited that you've made it here to this point that you have been thinking about for a long time. And even though you had to pivot and make adjustments when it came to education, it did not stop you. The alternative route of virtual education still led you right back to you getting ready to accomplish this degree. Listen, we have to be able to be flexible. It's okay to pivot. It's okay when you have to try to find a different approach. It's okay when you have to even find a different strategy. But if you're going to do that, you need to do that being resilient. Don't allow the pivot to take you off focus. Don't allow the adaptation and the ability to be flexible to take you off focus. You got to make sure that when you are faced with a setback, your ability to be flexible and adapt is setting you up for a comeback. The sixth thing I want to share with you is that as young men, you have to learn how to practice self-compassion. A lot of times young men can be very hard on themselves. You have a stigma sometimes that you have to live up to, that you are strong all the time. But guess what? Challenges are challenges. And it's okay to allow the challenge to allow you to be vulnerable till you accept that you can have compassion for yourself. It's important to be kind to yourself. It's important to talk to yourself and say, you know what? I didn't make it this time, but I'm going to make it next time. I may have to go and get additional help in this area, but it's not going to stop me. It's going to make me better to allow me to get to where I'm trying to go. You got to know that it's important to be kind to yourself. It's important to love yourself. It's important for you to know your own self-identity. For us as mothers and us as parents, we can affirm you with everything in us, but it's different when you know how to affirm yourself. It's different when you walk with your head held up high, knowing who you are, knowing where you're going, knowing what God has blessed you with. You have to know that you can practice compassion upon yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself when things do not go as planned. Because I promise you, when you're able to practice self-compassion, it'll be so much less of a stress on you as you are walking through your challenge. The next thing I want to leave you with is set realistic goals. Set goals that are achievable. Set goals that allow you to even make small steps to get to those goals. Can I leave you with something that I really love to do? How about you do something that I like to do? Practice journaling. Journaling is a way that I allow myself to be able to set goals to be able to accomplish and get there. I just learned a new journaling system a couple of weeks ago that I can't wait to try it. And basically what it does is it allows you to be able to track your time, your task, to track what you're getting ready to do, and to track what you just finished doing. So then you can look back and see how realistic were your goals. This is how you do it. You get you a journal, a notebook, anything like that. And then when you get ready to start a task, you write the time. You write the task that you're getting ready to start. And when you complete that task, you write how it made you feel, or what did you do to get there, or did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish, or do you have to go back and fix or finish something? And then after that, right under there, you write the next thing that you are getting ready to do. And when you look back in your day, you have the opportunity to see, did you meet those goals and expectations that you set for yourself? You also get a chance to see, was there any time in there that you might have wasted that you could have been doing something more productive? You're also able to see, how long does it take you to complete a task? You're also able to see what goals or main goals that you need to set that need to be priority at the beginning of your day instead of the end of your day. So that's a journaling technique that you can practice to be able to watch how you maneuver your daily life and plan in setting your realistic goals. Listen, you can achieve those goals when you break them down in small tasks and make them manageable so that you can accomplish them. And then when you accomplish them, you got to celebrate. Celebrate that you made a milestone. Listen, I love to celebrate the small steps in my life. Now, oftentimes, I really wish that I could get to the bigger ones faster, but that's not how we need to do that. We need to take the time to walk and reach each small step so we can get to that big goal. The 8th thing I want to share with you, and I just have 10 things, so we're almost done. The next thing is believe in yourself. No, nobody can believe in you more than you need to believe in yourself. Yeah, all of us have a cheerleading team cheering you on for the journey, cheering you to get past the setback, cheering for you to make a comeback, cheering for you left and right. But if you're not cheering for yourself, young men, then you have to go back and figure out, where did you stop? What kept you from seeing yourself in a position where you ought to be excited about where you've come from and where you're going? Remember, you are capable. You are resilient. You are awesome. You can do all things through Christ that gives you strength. Be able to believe in yourself to the point where no matter what you're going through, you can push forward even when things get difficult and when things get tough. The 9th thing I want to share with you is focus on the things that you can control. I know as young men, it is very difficult, I believe as men, period, to want to be able to control your life and your situations, to want to be able to instantaneously fix that thing. But guess what? There are some things that happen in your life that are beyond control. And even as moms and parents, especially mothers, we know it's something on the inside that if we could fix it for our sons, we would. But guess what? That is not what God desires for us to do. He wants us to give them the room and the ability to be able to walk through things that they can't control. Why? Because number one, they got to be able to put their trust in Him. And moms, we got to be able to put our trust in Him too. Encourage your sons to focus on things that are within their control. I have this conversation with my son all the time. Justin, if you can't control it, release it to God. Only deal with the things that you can't control. You know what you can control? You can control going to class, and in that biology class that you seem to have difficulty in and struggle, you can ask for extra work. Yep, you can control that. You can control going to your professor and asking for tutoring. You can control that, because those things in which you can control can also be the things that set you up for success. And hey, God will allow your professor to have favor with you when you can work within the things that you can control while he is working out the things that you can't control. I talk about this all the time with him as well. Don't focus on the things or dwell on the things that you have no ability over. You feel more empowered when you can deal with the things that you can control, and then be proactive in controlling them. I was so excited because he did take that advice, and he went to the professor in the biology class that he's been struggling with a little bit, and he was able to do extra work for extra credit, and he was able to take additional tutoring sessions. And so listen, that was a very, very, very good proactive way of being able to overcome the challenge of biology, and also being able to experience what it's like when you can make decisions that you can control. And the number 10 thing that I want to leave tonight, when we are here to help these amazing young men draw up the blueprint for their lives, overcoming difficult challenges as they lead themselves to success, is this. Number 10, stay positive. Always have a positive outlook on life. We live in a world that is dark. We live in a world that seems to always present to us things that are negative. We can sometimes live in a world that does not always support where we're trying to go. Not always, in some instances. And so the best thing a young man can do is learn how to remain positive in their own situations, believing in themselves, being optimistic, knowing how to overcome adversity, looking at things from a different perspective, seeing things from multiple angles, putting themselves in different shoes to know how to maneuver the things that they're going through. I know sometimes it's not always easy to be positive, but I tell you one thing, positivity is the best thing, because negativity, what does it do? It doesn't always lead to rewards. Sometimes it leads to us staying in that area where our mindset is not one of growth, and that we continue to ponder over all the things that we've been through. And we have this negative outlook that things will not get better. And that is not the way that anybody should live or be able to thrive when they're trying to draw up a blueprint of having an effective life, a life where you reach purpose and destiny and be all that you have been called to be. Listen, I want to take a moment and just share with you a couple of things to remind you of the 10 things we talked about. But we're going to use the acronym challenge. Can we do that? All right, let's go. The C. Remember to celebrate progress and also celebrate small victories. The H. Have a growth mindset. Setbacks are opportunities for you to grow and learn. The A. You got to be adaptable to changes, and you got to remain flexible. The L. Lean on your support system and seek help when needed. The L, love yourself, practice self-compassion and self-care. The E, embrace the journey and stay focused on your goals. The N, never give up, believe in yourself and your abilities. The G, grow from setbacks and learn from your experiences. The E, Empower yourself by taking control of the things you can change. And the S, stay positive and maintain optimism even in tough times. Listen, that young boy with Mr. Rogers, he had a challenge, but he never in a million years, I would think, thought that what he thought would be his greatest challenge ended up being Mr. Rogers' greatest blessing. Can I leave that with you? When you have the mindset and the focus to be able to overcome difficult moments for success, your setback can turn around and be a comeback. No matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're going through, whatever those goals that you have put and set to accomplish, no matter if they're taking a little bit longer than you expected, remember that there is someone waiting for you to look at your challenge from a different perspective. Why? Because they need you to do something for them that you probably think you could never be capable of. What I love about God in my journey is that He showed me that all of what I've been through, every obstacle and every challenge, was never just meant for me. Every accomplishment, every celebration was never just meant for me. Young men, moms, remind them that there is somebody in this world that needs what they have. There is somebody waiting for them to manifest purpose so that they can be blessed. This is the reason why we never let a setback stop us. The only thing we allow a setback to do is push us toward a comeback. Remember, if you're going to draw up your blueprint for life, you must know how to overcome difficult moments so that you can reach amazing success. Thank you all tonight for allowing me to come share. I hope there was something that was said tonight that blessed you, that you were able to take with you and continue to walk this walk of purpose, being able to focus on your goals, believe in yourself, and reach the potential that has been locked up inside of you so you can manifest your purpose. Thank you so much.
Ooh-wee, that was juicy. Girl, look, I know that this seminar is talking about mothers and sons, but there's no way anyone who could have listened to this not apply those 10 steps to their own life. I just want to highlight a couple of things that really jumped out at me, because as soon as you start talking, the first thing I wrote was a setback is nothing but a setup for your comeback.
Yes.
And you went right down that same path, and I was already there. So I love point number one, because point number one, when you talked about acknowledge where they are trying to get to, is nothing but the process to the progress. And I think all of the time, not only just young men, I think we as an adult, anyone that's going through a life altering challenge, you know, sometimes we forget that you got to go through it.
Yep.
You know, James chapter 1 tells us count it all joy for trials and tribulations, because it produces that patience, but that patience produces perseverance. That perseverance produces what we need to be able to know that, hey, if I did it back then, if I'm going through something now, surely I can do it again. So, you know, that is just something so positive. I also want to focus on the point number 3 that you said. Focus on the journey and not the destination.
Yeah.
You know, oftentimes we put the destination, we try to put the cart before the horse. You know, we want it right now, right here, right now, right, Angela? And then we forget that this person who's been doing what they've been doing for the years, they went through a process. It was a me, and the question that you have, what did you learn along the way?
Yes.
Because that is really, really important. And I want you to hit 30 seconds on that. When we talk about learning on the way, it's just not about us just doing something, just something that we pull. Hit that out before I go to my next point.
Yeah. So when we talk about learning on the way, this is the thing. When we go through different situations and challenges in our lives, we got to ask ourselves, because every time we go through a challenge, it's always for us to get something out of it. And so what does it does? It builds who we are. Why? Because in order for get to a destination, you can't be the same person you was in the beginning of the process that you are at the end. And so each obstacle or each challenge begins to build something in you. If it's tenacity, if it's resilience, hey, it might be building leadership.
Come on.
So if you have a desire to get to a certain spot and you want to be a leader, if you can't follow, you can't lead. So maybe what you're learning in the process of here is learning how to follow, learning how to serve, learning to be humble, so that when you can get there, you can look back and say, you know what? I may have to lead these 15 people, but I remember what it was when I was down there. I'm going to be a good leader, knowing how to respect and honor and to help them along their journey. Why? Because I had a progress and a process that I had to get them on. When you see people that just out of just opportunity to be able to be launched into a level of leadership because they're connected to people that are wealthy. Some people grow up in homes where their parents are rich, so they automatically have opportunity to serve in a leadership position. But then guess what? They didn't learn. They don't know what it's like to be able to walk through these type of challenges, to be able to respect those that know less, that work on the bottom. I tell you this really quickly. People, it's kind of funny, Coach Della. I route garbage trucks for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I work for my local city and I route the garbage trucks. So when I got this position, of course, it was a technical position. Our garbage trucks have cameras and computers and all that. And so I have a degree in IT. So I'm there to route these garbage trucks. And so when I get hired at the company, my boss says, hey, we're excited that you're here, but guess what? We're not going to issue you a computer, and you don't get to first start routing the trucks off your knowledge of your awesome degree. Guess what you got to do? We're going to put you on the back of a truck and you got to dump trash.
All right, now you got to get hands-on experience, baby.
You got to get hands-on experience. So guess what? Before I could get to the destination of the job that I had to
know the process,
I had to go dump some garbage cans. I had to go through a process. And guess what? It was hot. It was funky. It was, guess what? It rained sometimes. It snowed. But guess what, Coach Della? I had to go through that process to be able to reach my destination, so I could look back. And when I went to one of our local branches to be able to route garbage trucks, I could relate.
Now you're correct.
Relate with the guys that were out there working in that type of conditions on a daily basis, and understanding, wait a minute, I can't keep them out there out all night. They got children, they got wives, they got lives.
Ooh, that's good.
And so when I route this, I got to route it to get them in the office in a time where they can go home and spend time with their family.
That's good.
That's what it means. Right there.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what. So you have to put some skin in the game.
Yeah.
You have to get right up in there, because it helps you to be able to articulate what not only the needs are, but at the same time, what it takes for you to get to that next level. Because remember, we are talking about drawing up a blueprint. We are talking about setbacks to come back. What is the actual, how to overcome, adversities and everything like that. We talking about that. Look, you can't tell me something about something you never even had a clue about it, right? Girl, so you know me. I live with chronic kidney disease. I deal with this all day. People look at me and they're like, you got lupus? You got kidney failure? You got diabetes? I can't tell. Why? Because see, my will to live is stronger than anything.
Yes.
My skin in the game, in this case, is like, baby, hey, I am an overcomer. I believe in changing the game, baby. Just because you deal with the situations, don't maintain the fact that you got to stay in that. And that's the reason why I love even this point. And it's really, really a key point that I want to bring out as I'm wrapping this up. You got to learn how to practice self-compassion. Because sometimes when we go through so much, we are so hard on ourselves. We think that it's like, man, I know I want to do it. Sometimes this body of mine, look, it takes control. And when it says, not today, sister, not today, my mind, my will might want it, but the body ain't working. And so I have to stop beating up on myself, feeling that I was a failure because I didn't accomplish something. And I have to say, give yourself some grace. Girl, you're doing more than a person who is normal living than what somebody who's going through what you're going through. And so what I love about everything that you just said, and all of these 10 points, look, I want you guys out there, definitely make sure that you replay this video, because the 10 points that Pastor Marks had definitely outlined, like I said, I know this is talking about moms and sons, but every point is something that we all can glean on and we all can eat upon that plate. And, you know, Angela, I just want to thank you so much, because it's, look, let me just tell you this, you know, I'm a life and transformational coach, and all of these points was something that I do. But baby, I'm gonna give it to you once, but trust me, I'm gonna use them again. So you're gonna hear about it. You already know, pastors, we say this all the time, don't we? I can't give you credit first, then after that, it's mine. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Build Your Best Life. And today on our Moms and Sons seminar, you know, we just had a powerful inspirational lesson from none other than our very own Pastor Angela Marks. And I am telling you, if you have not already done so, make sure that you like, tag, and share. Make sure you encourage your friends, family, your sons to come back and really listen to the insightful message that we actually have been given. And with that being said, I myself, like I said, I'm a transformational life coach. My name is Coach Della Major, and my platform is actually From Trigger to Transform. But then at the same time, my platform is Reclaim and Live. It's all about living your life victorious and empowered. You can find me on Facebook at Coach Della Major. You can also find me on Instagram as Coach Della Major. And I encourage you to come out, check out what we already have. And, you know, I wrote a book too, just as Coach Deborah, and this also is called From Trigger to Transform. But Pastor, is there any platform, or somebody maybe want to even connect with you? I want you to share that information before we go on and we exit the session for today.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook at Angela Marks. You can catch me on Instagram at Angela M. Marks. Also on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, Angela Marks, where I create morning devotional videos for children to encourage and empower them as they go to school. So you can go out there, let your children watch something in the morning before they go to school to empower them through their day. And catch me on my website. You can always reach me there, www.angelamarks.com.
All right. Now you heard it right here. So make sure that you gather all of that information. And again, just like we sharing, don't forget, check out Build Your Best Life on Facebook, Build Your Life on YouTube. All of those platforms, as you can see, is here on Twitter, because you don't want to miss not one session. So if you haven't already clicked on that subscribe button, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the ring so you can get notified when the next episode is going on. And with that being said, we're wrapping up on our session on today. Stay tuned and get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow, oh my goodness, and right here at 6:30, we got another powerhouse that's going to be coming on, none other than Pastor Shaniqua Davis. And you definitely don't want to miss that, because I'm telling you, each day is going to be on and on, better and better, gooder and gooder. And so, Pastor Angela, thank you for joining me. And thank you for joining me today on another episode on the Moms and Sons Seminar and Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. We look forward to hearing from you soon. God bless.